I believe Helen looked over an hour of it on the plane on the way back, and we had so many things listed already where 2 and 3 pieces of equipment were going off at the same time, validating some sort of paranormal activity. It was, like I said, just craziness. But it was all that I expected and even more. And I really can't wait to go back. I just won't go to the tunnels. We will, like I said, be working with Lost Limbs to try and bring something to Dallas. It's probably going to take a little bit, but we want to bring an event to the Dallas area because that is, of course, where we're from. And everyone goes up to the Northeast and, to California and things like that. Well, we want to kind of bring it to the South a little bit and see what we can't do to help it out, help the foundation out. I was going to also I have a guest here tonight, a friend of mine. He's on the road with me, actually, driving me around Houston. His name is Jason Black, and he's from FEAR Paranormal. And he's going to tell you a little bit about his experiences at the Galena Murder Bordello, real quick, which is in Galena, Kansas. And I set up these little weekends called Paranormal Paloozas. And we go and stay in a haunted mansion, and then we investigate 2 other locations and sightsee during the day and have a good time. And took a group up there, and Jason was with the group, and we were at the Galena Murder Bordello. And if you don't know what that is, it's a little old brothel. What do they call it? In Texas, it was the biggest little whorehouse in Texas. Well, this was a little brothel in Galena, Kansas, and where a murderous family was said to have lived, and they pretty much got rid of 30 to 50 miners and robbed them, killed them, and shoved their bodies in mine shafts all around Galena, Kansas, and a little bit into Missouri. So, Jason, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you witnessed at the Galena Murder Bordello?
All right. Hey, folks. This is Jason with FEAR Paranormal. Some of the experiences I had at the Galena Murder Bordello was pretty amazing. The best experience, I think, the 2 scariest experiences I had was, I think halfway through the night, me and a couple of others went up to the attic where it is said that the spirit up there in the attic does not like men, and men tend to get scratched up there. So I decided to go up there, and I had just put a brand new fresh battery in my video camera. So I get up there, and almost immediately the battery drains. So I had no video evidence of this happening. I stayed up there for a little bit. A couple others that went with me, they were up there for a few minutes and then went back down. I was doing an EVP session, and I wasn't really getting anything, not feeling anything, and so I decided, okay, well, thank you for letting me come up here and talk to you. I appreciate it. Getting ready to head back down the stairs, and I start feeling my arm burning. I looked down at my arm, I shined my flashlight on it, and I noticed 2 scratches on my arm. So I was scratched up there in the attic at the Bordello. I came down and said, hey guys, come check this out. What does this look like to you? That's scratches. So the other incident that happened to me was close to the end of the night. We were up in Nancy Stuffelbeck's room. And we had a lot of activity going on in there. Couple of the girls that were up there started feeling sick and had to be escorted out of the room. I had a very weird, strange feeling in there the entire time I was in there. I felt a male presence in there that did not want me there. And so at the end of the night, towards the end of the session there, I decided, okay, I've had enough. It doesn't want me up here. I'm gonna go. So I start walking back down the stairs, and something pushed me from behind, and there was no one behind me. So I kind of stumbled a little bit, caught myself, but that was the two scariest experiences I had at the bordello. We did capture some other very interesting EVPs that I had all of the evidence on a flash drive, and I'm going to give to Selena to let her review as well. And so hopefully she'll be sharing that with on her page and sharing that with everyone soon. It was a great investigation. The whole weekend was great. We had great people. It was complete pure unity. There was not a single complaint the entire weekend. Everyone that was there. How many do we have? 10 people. 10 people plus Selena there. Not one single person had any complaints. Everyone got along. No one bitched. You know, it was a true definition of pure unity. There were a few people that had just met and they hit it off right away. There were a few girls that hit it off, and them together they were just drawing activity like crazy. So at the Kendrick house as well that weekend, and at the John Wise mansion where we stayed. I will highly suggest, if Selena puts together another Palooza event, I will highly suggest going. It is an amazing time. So that's pretty much my experiences. I wouldn't tell you what we've got going on in the text part right now, but with the holidays coming up, we kind of don't have anything going on. So stay tuned, and I'm sure I'll be keeping Selena updated with things that we start pulling up next year, and we'll start talking about them a lot more. But thanks for Selena for having me on the show.
Appreciate the audience, since I kind of kidnapped him to drive me to Houston. Yeah, we actually came down because we were asked to talk to a class of little. They were 10 sophomores to seniors in high school. And we shared our knowledge of the paranormal, showed them some equipment, how it worked, and actually put it to good use and demonstrated it, and actually had a lot of activity. And it's really refreshing to see the excitement on their faces, and it brings that passion back when you're kind of going, God, you know, I'm kind of sick of the drama and the paranormal. I'm kind of sick of all the BS, but the passion, it never dies with me. Even though people are being ugly to one another and there's no sense in it and all that stuff, you know, it doesn't kill my passion. But when you go and you share your passion with others and they get excited about it, it just kind of recharges your batteries. It kind of like makes you go, yeah, this is cool. You know, this is exactly why I do this, to share this with others and, you know, let them know that, you know, we were very, I guess we kind of drove it home a lot, that it was not a game. This is definitely not a game. It's not to be played with. You take it serious, no provoking, protect yourself with your faith. I think we pretty much covered all the bases with that. We opened with a prayer and we closed with a prayer. It was just a mini investigation, but to see the girls and how giddy they were and how excited they were and interested in it, it just really, that's the next generation of ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, of, you know, debunkers, of skeptics. So, you know, when you share that with them, it's really kind of cool, and it felt good. And, you know, I hope to get to do it again another time. I love, that's why we do what we do, to help people. And if it's just one person that actually you connect with at each event, then you've done something. Me being an empath, that connecting with people is that's what we do. Whether we want to or not, we feel those feelings. We pick up on things. I was picking up on the girls getting kind of nervous just talking about the paranormal. Some of them were kind of like, ooh, you know, just talking, and they didn't get to stay for the investigation. But you can always pick up when they're into it or when they're kind of nervous about it, or at least I can. So we're fixing to actually, in about 15 minutes, have to be on the actual road driving to a restaurant to meet up with the rest of FEAR Houston. But I actually have a new member of FEAR Houston here with me. Actually, we're at her home waiting to go to dinner, and I'm really excited to have Lisa on. Sorry, I my mouth. But I'm excited for Lisa Hatman to actually join FEAR. We met at an actual Klinge Brothers event, and I believe it was at Yoakum, the first one, or something like that. We've been at 2 or 3 different ones before we actually started hanging out. But we've kind of been in a lot of places. She was actually also at the Paranormal Palooza weekend, and we actually played cards with some spirits. It was pretty interesting. But I'm gonna give it to Lisa, and we're gonna ask Lisa to tell us what her most crazy experience that she's had so far was, and tell us a little bit about how long you've been doing this. There you go.
Thanks, Selena. I've been doing this quite a while. I call it born into it, where I, as a child, remember being 4 years old and knowing there was something in the room with me, having to go to sleep every night trying to keep my eyes open, scared to death of what was in the room with me, what was around me. I've had problems putting up laundry my mother would want me to put up because I would scream, "What time is it? What time is it?" Just so I could hear a voice, because I knew there was something there with me. All my life, there's been something there. As I got older, things started moving, doors started slamming, disappearing, cold spots all over the place. Different colors would start in the middle of the night showing up in the house. It was strange. But that's the way I grew up, and I wasn't told anything about what went on until I went to my mother one day when I saw 2 apparitions walking down the hallway to her room, and I went in there, and she's like, they went in the closet. So then I knew I wasn't the only one. So I was born into it, was scared to death as a child of it. I try to help children and young adults, and that's why one of the reasons I started the paranormal group at the high school where I teach, to help them understand, to help them not be so scared, because I've seen so many children, so many young adults afraid of what they're having to go through. So I try to make it a little bit easier for them and get them to understand, because as I went through it being scared to death, I knew I had to do more to find out about it than to be scared the rest of my life. So as I got older, I started doing research and finding out what was it that was going on, what was happening, and it made me better understand different paranormal situations. I've researched a lot of things, including a incident that happened in Crosby, Texas, and I actually wrote a paper on that and have all kinds of evidence. I've been out there a million times investigating, checking stuff, just to better understand where I would not be so scared. So now I'm not scared of anything they claim, which I'm not sure if I am or not yet. But I've basically have been born into it, I guess. So I help people. I always have. People call me to give my name, to just make sure it's okay to give my name to different people so I can help them, and I have helped several people. Just not to be scared or to help them get rid of what's going on in their home. That's kind of my background and where I come from. And I also am a member of Texas Mystery Hunters, along with going investigating with Selena. And that's about it.
Cool. Actually, I asked to speak to your class today. That was extremely exciting. The road trip. You're okay. I won't call on you. My friend Melinda here is like, please don't put me in the area. No, but we are excited to have Lisa as a part of FEAR as well. We're going to go and meet with the rest of FEAR Houston here in a few minutes, driving to actually Pasadena. We won't go there. anyway, we'll just stick with Pasadena. And we're going to go have our first big team meeting. I haven't really had a chance to even meet some of the folks that are on FEAR Houston, so this is going to be a whole new experience for all of us, I think. But back to the Lost Limbs Foundation event. I wanted to talk a little bit more about that because I thought there would be quite a few more people at the event, I guess because of the time of the year maybe and the snow and the things that were going on. I wish we could have had more people to raise a lot more money. So that's why I'm going to come on here and I'm not begging because I won't do that, but I'm just telling you that it's an extremely cool foundation. It helps a lot of people that really need the help. It hits close to home because, when you see someone that almost loses a limb in a wreck and they are lucky enough to keep it, even though they have to have surgeries and things like that to get their nerve damage fixed, it's a lot better than actually losing a complete limb. Actually, Mike has had, I think he said 11 surgeries, and he has to have a couple of more before they can refit his new prosthetic. But they're not cheap. They can at least be $2,000 and probably more than that, and that's with just half of a prosthetic. That's not a full leg. That's just from knee down. And I'm just ballparking it. That depends on what all else they have to fit or operate to make fit or fix. Because when you have limbs that are like taken from you, they have to do all this cauterizing of veins, and sometimes the veins get twisted and messed up and can sometimes clot, and they have to go in and fix it again. And Mike Couch is I admire the man because he thinks of the kids before he does his own self, and he's doing all this from his heart. He went through a lot. He's been dealing with his limb issues since he was a little boy, and I couldn't imagine not having a leg or an arm or, not being with all my fingers and toes and things like that. And I feel very blessed to have all of my limbs and that I can run. But there are people that don't have that luxury, and there are people that don't have insurance to be able to afford it. And we're not going to go into any politics on my show, but things that some people set up just aren't working, obviously. But, insurance is not cheap, even with the deductibles, even with, this, that, and the other. You still have to meet this certain amount before insurance kicks in, and some families just don't have that. And when you have a child that already is missing a limb, and it's already costing a lot, it's hard to come up with deductibles. It's hard to come up with things like that. And then a lot of people are losing their jobs and getting laid off, and they have no insurance. So, we have to help these foundations like this in order to help these kids so that they can actually try to live, a regular, normal, well, I don't even know what normal is, but as normal as one can have it, missing a limb, or that you can live a full life. You just, people just need help. They just need a little bit of financial backing, and that's what Lost Limbs does. And people like Kip Coffey and Ben Hansen and Dane Workman take time out of their schedules. And I'm telling you, Kip Coffey is a busy, busy, busy man. He's going all over the place all the time, but he takes his time out for this fundraiser, and he takes time out for Angels Among Us, which is an animal rescue organization. And these guys do this, and they're busy. Ben Hansen is busy. Dane Workman, they take time out and they do this out of the kindness of their heart. And I don't think it would be too much to ask for everybody that's listening to go on Lost Limbs Foundation and just get $5. We waste more than that just, jacking around. You probably throw that more away in your change jar, a week, and you don't even notice it's gone. But $5 from if I had 800 listeners, what do you think $5 could do? And that's like kids could have their prosthetics. So I kind of challenge everybody out there to do that. Go to Lost Limbs Foundation on their Facebook page, and it'll send you to where you can help out. $5 isn't anything. I mean, it's Taco Bell, you know? You can always do without heartburn for one time, just to help out, right? But no, seriously though, it really moved me this weekend, in more ways than just the paranormal. I mean, my heartstrings will definitely tug that, because you don't even think about it, you know? You don't even think about, what about the guys that come back from you know, active duty, and they've had an IUD and it you know, blew their leg off or whatever. God, I hope so. Maybe it's an IED. I don't know. Anywho, so a bomb, you know, went off and they're missing a limb. Well, this can help replace that. And so sorry about that. But, so if you would, please, just give $5 to Lost Limb Foundation and help someone with their limb and to live a normal, fulfilled life. And we're going to talk a little bit more about, let's see, Galena Murder Bordello. We also have the Kendrick House to discuss. There are so many things that we've been to, so many experiences that we've had. You know, it's all about helping and giving back. Now, we go and investigate. Sometimes we pay for these places to investigate, and sometimes we get stuff and sometimes we don't. There is a place in Belton, Texas called Miss Hattie's. Miss Hattie's is also a very active location. It seems to be a kind of a pattern with brothels and activity. I got one of my best EVPs at Miss Hattie's. I asked if someone was there, and I got a response of, we're right here trying to talk into this box right here. Stanley Hotel, same thing. Asked the name, got Richard. Clear as day. All these events, all this paranormal activity, everything, all that was cool. But the thing that was the coolest was that this man has started this foundation to be selfless and help others. And I mean, he's won my vote, and I will help Mike anytime he needs it with his events and do what I can to give. FEAR is also going to start doing a local around the Dallas area. We're going to start doing a coat and blanket drive for the homeless, clothes, shoes. Just go through your closets. If you're in the Dallas area, just go through your closets. Pick out the things that you don't wear anymore. Old coats, old backpacks. Then we're going to have a big collection site, and it's called Our Calling. I want everyone that is listening to help the homeless out, because, you know, some of the homeless are vets, and also they also need prosthetics as well. So if you would, it is very, very cold in the winter, wherever you are, in any location, in any state. Why don't you start a clothing drive, a coat drive to help with the homeless? All these little things that you do, you put out positive in the universe, you get back positive. So we always try to put out the good so we can always get the good back. And what better way to help someone that's freezing by giving them an old coat you don't even know you have anymore. You're just sitting in the closet. So that would be something that all teams can do and give back. All this bickering and all this mess that goes on, it's not good, and it doesn't look good on our community. We need to do things that are positive. We need to give back. We need to contribute. Let's be constructive and not destructive. That's what I want in this community. When I set up my Paranormal Palooza weekends, there is no drama. There's all about para-unity, and we have a blast. It can be done, and I think it should be done, because if we could come together and stop trying to compete, because it's not a competition, we're all going after the same answers. But let's collectively get together and let's try to be positive. Let's try to show everyone out there we can get along and we can make things amazing happen. We can do that. We just have to stop with all the drama and all the mess. You put positive out, you get positive back. So that's what I would like to see happen to the paranormal community. I would like to see us show the world that we can actually make a huge difference if we just put our minds together, put the BS behind us, and move on. Let's get science where it needs to be, to where we can have the answers. We can't do that with all the turmoil and all the mess. That needs to stop. We're all in this together. We all want answers. We're all looking for the same answers. So we should not be trying to tear each other down. We should be trying to look for the answers together collectively. It's not a competition, folks. You're not going to make $1 million if you get a picture of an apparition for real. It's not going to happen. But collectively, we can go so far if we could just be positive and be together on this. That is such a big thing with me. And fear, we don't deal with drama. We don't deal with any of that. We're not a competition. We are a team. That's how we act. That's how we vote. Anybody that comes into the team has to be voted in, and everyone collectively do that. If we all put our minds together, just like with the Chad Kalick show that he had, Blood Red Sky, went to that, the man is a genius. If we all put our minds together, this world could be so different. So different. Stop the fighting. Stop the bickering, and focus on one thing. And that's making things better, not worse. The paranormal community as a whole, I'm so proud to have met so many cool people, and I want to meet a lot more cool people. I want the paranormal community to grow and better itself. I want answers. You want answers. We all do. Let's find them together. That's, I know I'm going to get off my soapbox now about that, but I really envision a more peaceful paranormal community, and I think everybody would be a lot happier if that happened. As far as what is going to happen in the next year, who knows, but we've got a lot of cool events that we're supposed to be at. We are going to go to Sloss Furnace. I will be at Sloss Furnace in Alabama on Valentine's Day, actually. I think it's the 13th and the 14th of February. It's in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's the Sloss Furnace event. So you can look on FEAR Paranormal Facebook page. You can also look on Close to Death Facebook page for the show, and I usually put the events that we will be at there on the page. After that, I believe, what time is it? Okay. After that, I believe the next event would be, the next event will be, let's see, March, I think it's Ozarks, the Ozarks Phenomenon. And then we have May is going to be, there's April is HHL, I think. I don't know if we're going to be there this time or not. And then Tombstone, Arizona, May 1st and 2nd. Now, the bordello closed. I heard that bad news, and we don't get to investigate the bordello. Is that right? Okay. Well, Dark Side Entertainment is putting the event on, and I will be there along with Randy Hardy, Kevin Betzer, Chris Malone song. We have the Kristen Renton from Sons of Anarchy. Sergio Cirillo from Walking Dead. And there's a couple of other names that she hasn't announced yet, but one of them's supposed to be really big. So that's what she said, really big one. So anyway, we're going to head out to the car right now, and I will still continue the show, but we're going to have an amazing time at that event, and then we will be, after that, at Phenomenology 107, Gettysburg, or close to Gettysburg. I'm going that way. Anyway, close to Gettysburg, and that will be, I believe, May the 10th, I believe we're trying to do it. We'll have to check that out. Then we have a couple of other events at the end of the year, but you got to check out Sloss Furnace. Look on Haunting at Sloss Furnace, the event page, and there's a few tickets left. I think they're selling pretty quickly. It's from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. Friday and Saturday, 13th and 14th, and it's $80. $80 per day. And it'll have speakers. Blaine Rohan will be there. I will be there. Stefan Brigatti will be there. There's just tons of people going to be there at Sloss. It's going to be a great time. If you would love to join us, like I said, go to Sloss, Haunting at Sloss Furnace, and it'll have a link to get your tickets for that. You can also go to the Haunting at Tombstone and get tickets for Tombstone. And that would be on a Haunting at Tombstone. And I think there's like day passes, silver passes left, and there might be a few gold. I'm not sure to what level that all is, but there are very few tickets to Tombstone left, and there's a good reason for that. And that's because we have gotten the whole town pretty much, except for a few places, which one would be the Bordello, which just closed their doors for business. I'm not sure what happened there. And pretty much the bird cage. We have the bird cage, the Occidental, the Low. What else do we got? Boot Hill. Uh-huh. There's just so much. I mean, you're talking Tombstone, Arizona. You're talking Wyatt Earp, So Cool, Doc Holliday. I mean, I've watched Tombstone. Doc Holliday Saloon's on the list. I've watched Tombstone, the movie, every freaking time it's come on. I can almost, word for word, do the whole entire movie. I wonder if I was in a Val Kilmer at that point in time, because that was a pretty cool Val Kilmer in Tombstone. I get told I was like Ellen or Val Kilmer. It just depends, I guess, on the day and what my hair looks like. I'm not sure. But, so you've got to check out Tombstone. You've got to check out Sloss Furnace, Phenomenology. God, how do you say that? Phenomenology? I think that's how you say it. Talk about a tongue twister. But there's just so many cool events that are coming up in 2015, and, we have still has a couple of private cases that we're doing, but after this, we're going to take a little bit of a break through Christmas and hit it hard 2015, because it's going to be an amazing year, full of fun events. I believe I might be going to Scarefest, which is also on the top 10 of what I want to do in the paranormal. I've always wanted to go to Scarefest, and I've always missed it for some reason. Dates just weren't clicking with my schedule, so hopefully this year they will. And I really hope to meet a lot of you at these events. I really enjoy meeting a lot of new people and getting to know. And I learn from everyone that I ever investigate with. That's why I like to investigate with a lot of different people. You learn a lot of things that you wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have went with the people. And I hate when people kind of limit themselves. There's teams that allow you to investigate with, by yourself, or they get all happy. We're not like that. You can individuals, you can do whatever you want as long as you take care of your. We're not really we really are big on prayer unity, and I know that some people don't believe it exists, but I'm telling you, I witnessed it for myself, and I know it does. Yep, and I've never seen a better group of people, and the energy in that group was just off the chain, and that's why we had so many amazing experiences that weekend. Besides laughing so hard that our sides hurt and our faces hurt, and we worked out our abs and didn't even really try, just laughing. But the Kendrick House, that's something else I want to talk to you about. Lisa Martin and John Emmett up there in Missouri, that's some good people right there. They can get into the John Wise mansion that we stayed at, where Mr. Shadow Figure started, kind of following me around when I was setting up cameras the first trip I went up there. What else happened in that? Remember that freaking orb that came out of the wall, or the light anomaly that came out of the wall and went down the hallway? Yeah. And then through the other bedroom door and set off the REM pod. I mean, stuff like that, when you have it on when you have 2 and 3 pieces of equipment going off at the same time and validating that something's actually there. Yeah, Jason actually put the REM pod on the table by his head and actually tried to go to sleep, and about an hour, maybe, not even, probably 10, 15 minutes he's laying there, and the REM pod starts going off. We had to actually end up turning it off because it wouldn't stop. And, he could feel a female presence standing over him. Well, that's kind of not real surprising, seeing that the John Wise mansion used to be the women, what was it, the wild, kind of like a YWCA, a women's home or whatever. And there were 30 women that lived in that house at one time. Just imagine the estrogen level in there. Oh my God! Wow. No, I don't know, man. That's a lot of hormones flapping around there. I like 6, but my God, man, 30 at one time. I'll try to get 15 of my friends to do 2 boat trips, and there was so much crap, it was so exhausting. There's no way I could live with 30 women. I'd lose it. But John Wise Mansion, if you're up in the Joplin area, you've got to check out and get in touch with Pete. I've had friends at PSI, CST, Texas, and, everybody's got, mine's SPS, So, yeah, look them up. PSL, John Emmett, Lisa Martin, they will hook you up with John Wise. They have events all the time in the John Wise Mansion. They have events at Kendrick House. They have events at, where was it that also had, besides they did have the Opera House, but I think that, I don't know if they still have that or not. Yeah, so it's pretty much the Kendrick House, which is, that's got so much cool history and cool things happen. Yeah, it's in Carthage. So if you stayed at the John Wise Mansion like we did, you'd be right in between the Galena murder bordello and the, either way. Yep. So, we set it up pretty well. You got to check the page out. We're not going to probably have one till next year, early in the year. It's always about $200 or less, and that includes where you stay. That includes 2 nights lodging and 2 locations to investigate. At $200 or less. And how can you beat that? You can't. Well, yeah, because you're staying. That's exactly right. 3 locations for $200 or less. I mean, come on, folks. And it's only 10 people, so it's not like it's a huge event where, you're really not going to get a real true investigation. You can't have a true investigation if you have 20-some-odd people in your group. It just is not going to happen. Contamination, spiritual, pretty much. I think they're intimidated when there's too many people. They're overwhelmed. They don't want all those people in there. So, pretty much, I like to keep it at 10 people and me as the leader, to where I can take you to these places and hook you up with the people that know the history. And they always, it's really cool because you go, we drive up there. It's a fun road trip. It's like 6 hours from where we are. And, and it's like 6 hours from Dallas, north. I mean, I don't know where everybody out there is listening from, but, and then you stay in a mansion, and you get to investigate there, and you go to another location on a Friday night, investigate there, go somewhere else on Saturday night, investigate there, and I kind of hook you up with the people that know the history of each location, and know that, exactly where the hot spots are. They've been there and investigated things. They've got EVPs. They've got things that they can tell us that if we just went to a location on our own and rented it, there would be nobody there but to open the door and go, here you go. These places that I'll hook up have actual electricity, running water, heat and air, and, you can set up your camera systems and stuff. Some of the locations that we go to don't have electricity. They don't have a bathroom. They don't have nothing except asbestos or cats playing everywhere. And those places I try to avoid. I won't stay in somewhere that makes me nervous as far as the dirt and the stuff, because I don't do rodents. I don't do roaches. So kind of picky like that. But these locations that we go to are all top-notch. You won't be disappointed at all. Every time I've been to the Klinge murder bordello, and you can look them up on Facebook as well, because if you're around the Selena, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, anywhere in that area, you've got to check that place out. Recipes and lots really are amazing people, and they have done so many investigations that way. They got so much evidence, and they're the nicest folks to deal with, too. I believe Russell's got a new studio, what does he call that? Krav Maga? That fighting? It's like a Krav Maga. Okay, that's, yeah, I will butcher something to death. Just let me at it. But he's got a new thing. I think it's in close to his house in Arkansas, in Slocum Springs or something like that. But he's got a new deal. But he is the nicest guy, and he's one of the top Krav Maga fighters in the United States. He trains people, but he is the guy that you need to talk to if you want to go check out the Selena murder bordello, where Nancy Stazzelback and her family reportedly, because God the controversy, reportedly murdered 30 to 50 minors back in the early 1900s. Like I said, it's never a good thing if there's not controversy. If there's controversy, then something's up, or they wouldn't talk about it. They wouldn't be bothered by the actual history getting out. Some people are real sensitive about that in that town. And after the DVD that Chip Coffey and the Klinge brothers and I did together, boy, did we hear it from a couple of people. Actually, just one, but the rest of the townspeople were freaking great. I mean, I've never met nicer people than in Galena.
Police officer drove up.
Yeah.
And they talked to us for what, a good half hour?
Yeah, he was telling us about his experiences, too. It's funny how when you tell people that you're a paranormal investigator, they only want to tell you their ghost stories, and it's really fun, because, you kind of validated that you're not, usually used to about, 5 years? You're crazy?
Let me tell you my whole
one story from when I was a little toddler on. And you know what? It's really cool, though, because I would rather have them tell us their ghost stories and look at me like my dad does when I tell him what I do. My dad's like, you're nuts. And I told him, I said, if I go before you, I'm still going to come back and jack with you, you skeptic. You know? He just doesn't believe it. I love my dad. Dad, I love you, but, man, you're a hardcore skeptic. But I hope the spirit comes up and smacks you right on your back so that you know it's real. Because he just says it's never happened to me, so I don't buy it. Never happened to me. I'm going to buy it. Keep bringing it. Doesn't it, though? I want to be a fun haunt. I'm not going to be scary like the Stanley guy down there in the tunnels, man. That dude was no joke. My friend got actually banked. First off, her name was called on the obvious, okay? It said her name, which that's weird because it just says weird stuff all the time, but it never really says names like people in the room. And it did hers, and then she got yanked by the arm and jerked up, and then the obvious said yanked. So I don't know how much more validation you need for something actually happening than that, but that was wild. I've never witnessed anything quite like that, and I've never felt anything quite like that. I got really, really sick. I started shaking inside, and I couldn't stop shaking for like hours afterwards. It was just craziness. It was like an energy vampire spirit type thing. And I hate talking, anything negative about vampires because I'm actually friends with the queen of the vampire state of Austin, so I'm open-minded about all that. And but that was an energy vampire from hell that was jacking with me and my friend Lisa. So I had to come home and do a lot of clearing and do a lot of cleansing prayers and all this other stuff. And, yeah, I've had good experiences, and that one out there was scary, extremely scary. So I would highly recommend going to the Stanley, but not highly recommend going to the tunnels. Just saying. That's just my personal experience. You may not experience that same thing, but it was definitely scary for me. And I don't get scared easily. I'll pretty much go anywhere. Now, Blaine Rohan, my little buddy Blaine, he's going to be at the Sloth Furnace, and he told me that grown men run out of the Sloth Furnace crying like babies because something physically jacks with you. So I have been challenged by Mr. Rohan to stay down in the tunnel as long as I can with it. Know that I will be protected big time. I will have my protection bag. I will have my stones with me. My holy water. Sage just pisses them off on her, I've been told. Frankincense is what works better. Yeah, those two are the ones that work the best. Frankincense and dragon's blood. I almost went Franken's blood. Frankincense and dragon's blood are the two things that really work the best from what I've been told by several people now. Sage kind of just pisses them off. So I've heard both. So who do you believe? I don't know, but I'll try anything to get some nasty crap off of me. You know what I mean? I'll bathe in sage, I'll bathe in frankincense, but I don't want nothing to do with whatever that was that's standing in the tunnel. That scares the crap out of me. But I'll tell you what, Estes Park, if nothing else, the town is not as cute as it can be. It snowed like a blizzard. It was so beautiful. Seattle's my top place that I love for beauty, but Colorado is rocking and I've never seen so much of God's country in my life. It's just, wow. I mean, that's all I could say, just wow, that's where I live. The Stanley staff was extremely nice. They were accommodating. They had some problems with the plumbing or pipes burst or something because of it being -1. And so they put us up in the presidential suite, which was exactly how it's said, suite. And I just want to thank, before we wrap up, I've only got a couple more minutes here, but I kind of wanted to say shout out
I hope that my broadcast gets a lot of money raised. I hope people accept the challenge of, I don't even care if you give $1. You know what I mean? If 800 people give $1, that would make me happy. You know? I don't even care. I just want that organization to know that they have support because he has worked his tail off to help others. So I want to help them out. So again, look up Lost and Known Foundation and give them what you can and help somebody out. And I will be back next week. I'm not going to tell you with who. It's a surprise. So I appreciate everyone listening. And again, check us out on FEAR Paranormal. And that's on Facebook. Post that on Facebook. And I will see you next week. Thanks to my sponsor, Syntax Blue System. And peace out. Y'all have a good evening.